Hey YouTube family, it's Dinko the Realtor, your Utah Realtor. Has the Utah housing crash officially started? Well, I have some data and information that I'm going to share with you that nobody else will. Also, has potentially the nationwide housing crash started? Now, before we get into the video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, that way you're notified when new videos drop. I know it's been a little while since I posted a video. I'm out in Europe, traveling to multiple different countries, and I got a little bit sick. Then I actually did record a video here a few days ago, and I did it in the wrong format. I actually did it up and down for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and things like that. So here I am again recording one in the right format, and this one's going to be a little bit more raw. I was going to put together some graphs and things like that. However, I'm just going to give you information. I'm going to be looking away at my phone over here at my recording device. That way I can just get this in front of you because a lot of important information has unfolded last week and going into this week, signaling that a recession is potentially here and potentially that housing crash. Now, let's get into this. The first thing that I want you to pay attention to is the unemployment rate. Right now, the unemployment rate is 4.3%. That's what it came out for the month of July. And you got to keep in mind, that's up from 4.1% from the prior month. So that's a 0.2% increase. And this is up from the 3.5%, which was a 5 decades. You'd have to go back 50 years to find a lower unemployment rate. And from 3.5 to 4.3. And remember, in previous videos, I said that that unemployment rate could start spiraling out of control if potentially things kind of lead to a bigger and bigger recession. And we're seeing here, right? It went from 3.9 to 4, 4.1, 4.3. And now there's even talks about potentially an emergency rate cut for the Fed, right? And look, the Fed has been saying that inflation is goal number one. And if they do cut rates severely, it's going to be because something in the economy is breaking. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is the stock market. So the tech industry has hit the worst time since 2022. And remember, that second half of 2022 is when we saw prices drop for 9 consecutive months. The median price was $600,000 in the greater Salt Lake area, and it fell all the way down to $510,000, which was upwards of 15% drop and almost $100,000, right? Depending on the price point. And that happened in that second half. And I've been saying that the second half here of 2024 has been feeling more like 2022 than 2023. And here's the talks of the recession. Here's also inventory increasing much, much quicker and higher, like I've been stating that that's actually happening. So right now, and at the end of July, we hit almost 11,000 units active on the MLS. That's right, 11,000 units almost. We did not even have that in October of 2022. That's when the actives peaked. And in 2023 in October is when the active peaked. So we still have a few months of inventory growth left. And we have more inventory than we did in that 2022 timeframe, which was a little bit higher than the 9,500, 9,600 that we had. I believe it was actually 9,600 or 9,700. So 9,600, 9,700 in 2023 versus 10,500 in 2022. And we're above that right now. And I'm just gonna have to wipe some sweat off of me because AC here is not every building has it. You don't see this. So we were in Croatia, Bosnia. We're in Austria now. Then we're gonna go back for a few days to Bosnia, and then I'll be back at the end of the week back in the U.S. So I'll be back in my elements where I'm flip-flopping between the screens, and I'll share some more information with you guys when I get back. I'll create another video, of course. The other thing to keep in mind is what's going on with the commercial real estate crisis. Right, there is a bubble with the commercial real estate crisis with the variable loans. There is an enormous amount of commercial real estate where these variable loans are coming due, and well, interest rates are higher and the commercial real estate has been devalued. So they're going to be having a very, very hard time refinancing this commercial variable debt, which could also deepen the recession if that recession does come around. And that's also what's very important to pay attention to. And look, that second half of the year since 2022 has been the better time to buy, regardless if there is or is not a recession. If there is a recession, that's probably, per the data, going to be only more true, right? The second half of 2022 was better than the first half. The second half of 2023 was better than the first half of 2023. And same thing here. We're seeing houses starting to linger longer, inventory going up. Once the school year starts, there's going to be more and more houses sitting on the market for longer and longer. And we're probably going to start seeing sales declining just like they do every single time that the school year starts as we're approaching the holiday season. And of course, if the recession hits, then maybe we won't even see that uptick in the spring of 2025 like we've been seeing here in the last few years, the uptick in every spring. So anyway, let's go move on to the next thing. Entered listings. This is another thing to keep in mind. Every month since January of 2024, we've seen an increase in the amount of listings entered year over year. This is where I would pull up my Excel sheet, show you this. That's what prevented the housing crash continuing in that second half of 2022 into 2023, because inventory started being negative year over year. Less and less houses, a lot less houses were being put on the market. However, in 2024, that has flipped. A lot more houses are hitting the market every month, year over year. And that's why we're almost at 11,000 units. So what that has done now here in July of 2024, 4,960 units hit the market, almost 5,000. A year ago, 4,348. So we're seeing here that there is an increase of 600 units. Now the sales, depending on the month, have been flip-flopping. Some months are less year over year, some months are more year over year. July was slightly more. July of 2024, 3,218 versus 3,146. So a net gain of about 100. A few more will be added. So let's just say a net gain of about 150, 170 year over year on the sales. However, when we take the listings in of the 600 minus that, we still have a net gain of 450 when we take the listings versus the sold. And again, it's been flip-flopping. So the previous month was, I believe, about 200 or 300 less. So when we go and analyze June, there was about 200 to 300 less sales than the previous year. And so August, it can flip again where it's less year over year on the sales. And just like I've been saying, look, nothing has been stabilizing in the economy. Nothing has shown us that, right? We have the stock market. We have unemployment hasn't stabilized, just like we see it growing here. The stock market hasn't stabilized because big tech has been seeing a ton of losses, and the stock market has been seeing a ton of losses here because now everybody is talking about a recession, and there are recessions pretty much starting in other countries around the world, and now even the talks about it happening here in the U.S., which now is no longer that safe haven where these countries have been fleeing to and investing their hard-earned money or their investment money, because of course the U.S. is the safe haven. Of the tech industry, and I've shared this video, I want to say over a year now. It was a CNN article. Only 5% of tech companies that are valued at $1 billion or more are actually profitable. And you would have to say majority of these companies weren't even around in 08, 09. And we had the dot-com bubble in 2000, which made people not overly invest in the tech industry for that 08, 09 Great Recession, right? However, that has not been the case here. There's been an overinvestment in the tech industry with only 5% being profitable. So you'd have to say majority haven't been profitable, majority haven't seen a recession. So if they do see a recession, how are they going to be able to survive that recession? That's the question. So we have commercial real estate, we have housing that's overvalued, and at the same time we have that tech industry issue going on, and we have the auto loan industry and the auto dealership industry, right? There's a lot of dealerships that have these cars that they bought, especially used cars, and they're not able to sell them. Cars are not selling. There's more people underwater right now on their cars prior to 08, during 08, after 08, 09. That is signaling that the car industry is not in a great standing. And there's a lot of correlation between the car industry with those subprime car loans, just like there was with the subprime mortgages of 08, 09. Cars never go up in value unless it's a classic. And we saw during that lockdowns, during the pandemic, cars were going up 50, 60, 70%. So right now, there's a lot of people underwater on those cars. And if these car values keep going down, that's going to be another interesting thing to keep in mind. Also, I've shared this, the 10% delinquency rate on credit cards for people that are 39 years and under. That is crazy. Essentially, it was 9% it was 10% for 29 and under, and 9 point something percent for 39 and under. So to keep it simple, we're just going to say 10% overall for 39 and under. That right there is indicating that things have not stabilized. If 1 out of 10 people are having an issue paying their credit cards and are delinquent, and when they're actually saying delinquent, it's 90 plus days. So this is not even taking people into consideration that are 30 days, 60 days, 80 days. No, you have to be 90 plus days behind to be in this category, right? So even if they do drop rates, even if they do, anything severely, it's going to be because something in the economy is potentially breaking or on the verge of breaking. That is the only reason why they would do severe rate cuts. Make sure that you're following Dinko the Realtor. Hit that subscribe button. These videos will keep coming. When I get back to the US from Europe here, I'll have a much better video with much more flip-flopping because I'll be back in my elements.